A small village sits deep in the hills, surrounded by tall trees and quiet streams. Every morning, the villagers hear birds sing in the branches, and the wind carries the fresh smell of grass through the air. The fields grow full of rice and corn, shining gold under the sun, and the people work hard to keep their harvest safe. But lately, they whisper about wild boars near the edge of the forest, big shadows moving in the mist, their grunts echoing at night. The boars stay away from the village fields, hiding in the trees, and no one fears them yet. Still, one man in the village listens to the rumors, his ears sharp, his mind restless. This man lives among them, and his name is Eli. He walks with a limp from an old fall, his gray hair messy, his clothes worn thin. Eli loves the hunt, dreaming of the boar's tusks hanging on his wall, and he says, "I see the boars out there, and I can catch them for myself." The villagers laugh at him, their voices loud by the fire. A young woman says, "You are old, Eli. You cannot run fast. Why chase boars when they don't hurt us?" Another man adds, "We work for our food, but you dream of silly hunts. Stay home and rest." Eli looks at them, his eyes steady, and says, "You laugh now, but I know a way." Eli walks to the forest the next day, carrying a sack of grain over his shoulder, and the villagers watch him limp into the trees. They hear the leaves rustle under his boots, and the distant call of a crow fades into the mist. For 3 days, he goes out each morning, and the people shake their heads, saying, "He wastes his time. He chases shadows for nothing." But on the 4th day, Eli comes back, his sack dragging heavy on the ground. He stops in the village square, opens it with rough hands, and pulls out the huge head of a boar. Its sharp tusks shine like knives, its dark fur matted with dirt. The villagers gasp, step back, and stare at him, their mouths open wide. A boy runs forward and asks, "Eli, how do you catch it? We think you fail. What is your trick?" Eli sits on a wooden bench, dusts off his hands, and says, "I don't run after the boars. I wait and watch them instead. I find their path near the big oak tree, and I leave grain on the ground, small piles of food every night. The boars come, they sniff it, they eat it, and they start to trust me. They wait for the meal, feeling safe under the shadows." He pauses, points to the boar's head, and continues, "Then, on the 3rd night, I hide a net under the grain, pull it tight when they eat, and catch the biggest one." The villagers stand quiet, listening to the wind howl through the hills, and feel his words settle like stones in their minds. Suddenly, a sharp grunt cuts the air. A smaller boar dashes past the village edge, its hooves kicking up dust, and vanishes into the forest's gloom. Eli stands, looks at it, and says, "Every free meal hides a danger. Those boars eat my grain, but it pulls them into my net. You laugh at me, but see this. What comes easy can trap you, and nothing is free without risk." Eli lifts his sack, turns slowly, and limps back to his house, the boar's head swinging in his hand. The villagers watch him go, their laughter gone, their eyes stuck on the tusks glinting in the fading light. They think about the free things they take and wonder what nets hide in the shadows of their own lives.